What is going on, everybody? It is your boy, your man, Stu. Back at it with another video, and today we're doing yet another toxic monthly check, this time for the month of September. But before we get sexual, beginning of the video, what's up, guys? If you guys do not know what my monthly check is, it is where every single month we rank every single movie that I saw new released and movies that everyone else has seen before that I haven't seen before, and rank them from the worst to the best. But before as well, guys, don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel, because number one, it's absolute freedom. Two, it'll also maybe help with the YouTube algorithm recommend it, and more people, maybe they could join. And do feel free to comment your monthly checks down below. But with that being said, guys, let's get right into it. And in the month of September, I saw a total of 6 new releases, and all the rest were movies that I'd never seen before. Alright, so, and I would just like to point out this, I don't think this month had any bad movies, at least that I saw, so... Yeah, so I think all these movies, I wouldn't say all of them were, like, good, but I don't think all of them are, any of them are bad, for that matter. So, coming in at last place, unfortunately, I'm gonna go Never Let Go. And I don't think it's a bad movie. I just think it's overall very confusing, because it is a movie that just messes with your head a lot. It supposedly takes a lot of inspirations from the movie called Frailty that came out a few years ago. I never saw it, but supposedly it takes a couple liberties from that, so it's kind of like a psychological thriller in a sense. I thought all the performances in here were really good. Halle Berry especially did phenomenal, and all her two kids as well did really good. However, I don't know, it's just... I feel like the first act of the movie feels very slow, but when it eventually gets going, it gets going, but it's also, I think, it does drag at some other points throughout the movie, and this movie also is split into chapters, which I don't know necessarily how to feel about that. Whenever, like, a movie generally does that, I always feel mixed about it, except for one, which we'll eventually talk about in my overhaul after my ranking of the movies. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention, by the way, after when we do the ranking, we show off my new stuff that I got this month, and then also my new pictures on the wall, which I do have one. Anyways, back to the ranking, though. Coming in at number 13, I have Rush Hour 3. And, I watched the Rush Hour movies for the first time this month, and Rush Hour 3 I still think is decent, you know? It's not on the level of the first two, I would admit, but I still think it's watchable. It's definitely the weakest out of the trilogy, but I think there's still a lot of stuff to like in here. I think the action is really good. I think there's some moments where the comedy is still there and you kind of laugh at it. I think Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker still have really good chemistry together, but you can certainly tell that they're a little bit older than they used to be, so not all the jokes land because of that. The villain in here I thought was still pretty solid, with it being Jackie Chan's character's brother, so that was kind of interesting. And also this movie does bring back, I forgot the character's name was, but the little girl from the first movie, so, Soo Young, I think that's what her name is. And I don't know necessarily how to feel about that. I think they just brought her back to bring her back for the third movie, because this sequel was a little bit delayed compared to the first two Rush Hour movies that came out a little bit later. But otherwise, it's still watchable, and, yeah. Coming in at number 12, I have Sinister. And Sinister I thought was pretty decent, you know. I think the scares were pretty good, especially one in particular, which I'm pretty sure we all know about. The whole entire lawnmower sequence, that's definitely up there for like all-time jump scares. Also, there's a couple other ones that made me jump out too. It tells an interesting narrative where there's this guy that's trying to get fame back, and he's trying to create a new book to get famous again, writing about a murder case, and trying to solve the murder as well, while there's this entity supposedly in each and every single picture. Ethan Hawke acts really good in this, but overall I was very mixed about the entity of Bughuul. I'm pretty sure that's how I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it, right? I don't know. But the main entity in the movie, I think overall does look cool, but also kind of feels a little bit cheap how they made him. But anyways, it's still pretty solid, so it goes there. Coming in at number 11, I have the Denzel Washington action movie, that being The Book of Eli, which I had never watched before, and I watched it for the first time probably at the beginning of this month, and I still think it's a solid action movie. I think the action's really good. I think that overall the character of Eli is really interesting, with Denzel Washington giving a really good performance. Mila Kunis delivers an okay performance. I think I've seen worse acting, but it's not... She still has some moments where she's quite solid in here, in this whole entire also post-apocalyptic world, I think overall is really fascinating to follow. And Gary Oldman also is a pretty solid villain as well. Alright, coming in at number 10, I have... Should I say it? I don't know if I should say it. All I have to do is just don't say it a third time. Beetlejuice is coming in at number 10. Of course, I've watched the first Beetlejuice before this. That wasn't the first time... Okay, he's not here. Okay, just making sure. I watched the first movie before, many times before seeing this one, and when they announced like a sequel following the first movie many years later, I was a little hesitant because most of those movies aren't good, and this one surprised me. You know, it was fun. It was fun. Michael Keaton is still good as our particular main character in here. I'm trying not to say it again. Jenna Ortega does a good job at acting in here as the new character too, even though overall I didn't really like her character until like maybe a little later on in the movie. Winona Ryder's still good as Lydia. The mom from Home Alone gets to shine here as the mom of Lydia, the stepmom of Lydia, and she adds a couple funny moments throughout the movie. Also, I think the CGI in here, well, the practical effects, I must admit, are really good throughout the movie. And Tim Burton, before releasing this, said it is going to be mostly practical, which they do most of the time. There is some instances where they use CGI and it doesn't look good, but most of the time it is practical. So for negatives of the movie, I think it has way too many plot lines and way too many characters to use in here. They have a whole entire storyline about Beetlejuice's dead love interest. I just said it again. Darn. And I thought that storyline kind of got sidelined until that finally pops up in the final act again. You have Winona Ryder and Jenna Ortega trying to Winona Ryder trying to save her daughter from the afterlife and go into there. And overall, there was a lot of story points in here. And there was also, a lot of characters in here. So, it is still pretty decent, though. I would recommend this one. Just taking a drink of water, don't mind me. I don't get to say his name again. Woo! Alright, coming in at number 9, I have the first Rush Hour. It is a solid buddy cop comedy. I think there's a lot of laughs in here. I will admit I don't get a whole lot of laughs as much as another movie, which we'll eventually talk about in a little bit, but there are still quite a few laugh out loud moments in here. Jackie Chan and Chris Rock instantly connected with each other and their comedy styles. I thought they really worked together well in all three of these movies. I think the final act is really cool as well. So yeah, Rush Hour goes in at number 9. No, and if you were wondering why I didn't put it higher, it's just there's serious moments in here and then there's more comedy moments, and I don't think they mesh well. I would prefer them to do one approach more than the other, if that makes sense. So, and they try to mesh both at the same time. So, but it still comes in at number 9 and it's still solid. Coming at number 8, I have Azrael, which is I believe, the most recent movie I've watched. I think I saw it Sunday, actually. And it is a very well-made, low-budget movie. I think the acting is really good, especially by Samara Weaving. I thought she did fantastic in here. I think the overall premise is very interesting, with them getting set in the Rapture after and having this whole entire post-apocalyptic world. I thought that was really interesting. I think the ending as well is very interesting, and it asks you you ask some questions, and it doesn't give you a clear ending, which most horror movies are supposed to do. So that was a really good way to end things. Mixed and negative things to say about it. I think overall I'm mixed about what the creatures are actually are. And negative things, I think this movie does not have any dialogue at all. Well, it has some certain dialogue, but not a whole lot. And I think some certain points in this movie, it could have used some dialogue. But anyways, it's still pretty solid, and I would recommend you check it out. Alright, number 7, I have Final Destination 3. I already watched the first Final Destination movies in October of last year, which I loved. I think I watched the second movie 2023, and I watched the first movie 2022. And I love both of those. And this one, probably out of the trilogy, is my least favorite, maybe, but it overall does have the best characters in here, with Mary Elizabeth Winstead as the main character. I think she overall is the best protagonist in the Final Destination franchise, which I know is a hot take because, Devon Sawa in the first movie, he's still a great protagonist, but I think overall I just prefer Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character a little bit more, how she's feeling guilty about everything that has gone on through this whole entire movie. I think the opening roller coaster sequence is really cool, and all the deaths in here are pretty cool. And I never thought there would be a sequence that tops the whole entire the truck log sequence from Final Destination 2, where you never see those things the same again in real life. This time they use tanning beds, and yeah, never looking at those the same again, which, yeah, I'm never going to do that now. And I think overall most of the kills are pretty solid. Now, for negative things to say about it, I think that the kills... not the kills, sorry. I think this movie is the movie that started to overuse CGI compared to the last two movies, because most of them were pretty practical. Final Destination 2 had some CGI aspects to it, but it didn't have it fully. This one, I think, embraces it fully. There's a few instances where it is practical, but CGI does not look good in here at all. The characters I did root for, and the ending overall I thought was a little underwhelming. But yeah, I still thought it was solid, but it's probably my least favorite out of the trilogy. Coming in at number 6, I have Rush Hour 2. And Rush Hour 2 is my favorite of the trilogy. I loved Rush Hour 2. It was so funny. I think it easily had the best gags out of the whole entire trilogy, because Jackie Chan and Chris Rock, this is their second movie in the franchise, so they can even build up upon their chemistry that they had in the first movie, and they do it here. The whole entire spa sequence is hilarious. And yeah, overall, and it taking place in Shanghai, and I did enjoy it as well. So Rush Hour 2 comes in at number 6. It's a fun time. Coming in at number 5, I have Through the Window. I'm trying to do the main song, but Insidious. And I watched this particularly last night because I'm going to Halloween Horror Nights Thursday, which I will be dropping a vlog for you guys to watch. And they're having an Insidious haunted house there, so I was curious what the Insidious hype was about. Watched the first movie yesterday, and I thought it was great. The only thing I didn't like about it was just the gray filter. I think it is a little bit weird. And then also, Ty Simpkin does do good with the dramatic parts in here, but there's some points where you can tell he's a little bit earlier in his career with his acting. So, but overall, I still thought he was decent. But everything else in this movie I loved. I really liked the characters. Patrick Wilson does a phenomenal job at acting in here. James Wan does a great job at directing. This story about their son being possessed and they not knowing it and they just think it's a coma. I think that's really interesting. I think all the entities in here looked really creepy and interesting, with the bride, of course, and then also the lipstick face demon. The jump scares in here are really good. They're all-time jump scares as well, particularly the main one with the lipstick face demon. Yeah, Insidious coming in at number 5. Coming in at number 4, I have another new release, that's being Speak No Evil, with James McAvoy. And James McAvoy, of course, the star of the show, delivered yet another fantastic performance. Probably his second best performance, right behind his performance from Split. He even though the family is crazy or appears crazy in the trailers, and the family is about to leave, he always wrenches them back in, and he wrenches me back into, and you go like, yeah, all right, you want me back, even though you're not supposed to be rooting for him. I think that all the human characters you do root for, except maybe for the dad, because the dad's really stupid, and the mom is really smart and wants to leave, but dad says, no, it'll be okay. But, the main good guy characters you want to root for. I think overall, I think this was pretty low budget, correct me if I'm wrong, but the cinematography is amazing. I think like I said, all the performances are amazing. I think the slow build definitely helps the film get you invested with both of these families. As for negative things to say about it, I think the final act is predictable, and the only reason why it is because the trailer pretty much revealed everything that was gonna happen, so don't watch the trailer before seeing this one, and the trailer got played many times in theaters before this movie came out, so doesn't really work in the movie's favor. But the movie was still great, though, and it is a really fun time, so yeah. Coming in at number 3, this is probably in my top 5 or top 10 movies of the year. It's guaranteed to be up there. And it is it is one of the most recent movies I've watched, and that is Wild Robot, which I saw it Sunday. I was a little bit late to the party. I wasn't able to see it a day before like I usually do, because for those who do not know, I live in Florida, and there was a hurricane that came through Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, so I wasn't really able to see the movies because the theaters weren't open, so I was unfortunately not able to see this one. But when I eventually did, I loved it. I thought I think pretty much everything I loved about this movie. I didn't really have any negatives that I could personally think of, really. Maybe a little bit over time I will think about it and see if I know any negatives, but overall I thought it was pretty close to perfect in my eyes. So yeah, it's definitely up there. Number 2, since I watched Longlegs this year, I kind of got into the murder crime movie mood, and I finally watched Seven for the first time. And this movie is awesome. I loved it. I'm a little sad that I came to it a little bit later. But I think all the acting is phenomenal, particularly by Morgan Freeman, Brad Pitt, and Kevin Spacey, even before he became Kevin Spacey. But he delivers a great, chilling villain performance as John Doe. The dynamic that Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman have in here, you definitely connect with it quite a bit. I think Gwyneth Paltrow as well does really good in here. I think the disturb factor is really good. I think this can be considered a horror movie with how terrifying some of the things John Doe does. And then, of course, we all know the final part of this movie. What's in the box? One of the most disturbing endings of all time. And even it doesn't even show anything, and it's still disturbing. So yeah, coming in at number 2. Actually, I'm gonna switch things around. That comes in number 1. As soon as I start talking about the movie, that comes in at number 1. Now we're talking about number 2. Second place, I have Transformers 1. This is my favorite animated movie of the year. Wild Robot comes close, but I still think I overall enjoyed Transformers 1 a lot more. I think I don't know. We'll have to see. But right now, I'm saying Transformers 1 in second place. I think all the animation is really good. I will admit, it takes a while for you to grow on you, but once the movie starts going, like a little bit 30 minutes into the movie, you start connecting with the animation a little bit more. I think all the voice acting in here is pretty good. Chris Hemsworth as Optimus Prime, Michael Tyree Henry being the standout as Megatron, in my opinion. What's the guy's name? The guy that voices Bumblebee. I forgot what his name was, but he does a great job as Bumblebee in here. And also Scarlett Johansson does good as I forgot what her name was, Angela or something, I think, but she still does good as her. I think it exploring the actual backstory with Optimus and Megatron this time as friends, I thought that was a good choice to go. And it's very fascinating how you see their competing dynamics before they eventually become rivals. And yeah, it was a surprise. So it comes in at number 2 and 7 comes in at number 1. Alrighty then. That is my list done. Now let's bring out some my overall, guys, which one of these items I do not officially own, but I just showed it because my family owns it as part of the collection at home. Oh my gosh, it's big. It's the Dark Shadows complete original series in this little thing here. So I thought it looked pretty cool. So yeah, but unfortunately it is DVD, so I'm kind of glad I don't have it. But it is, I watched the movie and I like the movie, so, and I've never watched the TV series, so maybe I'll like the TV series. Next up we also got, some movies that I got from the family cabinet. We have House of the Long Shadows, whatever that is. I think that looks interesting. It's still in the wrapping, though. It has Vincent Price, Christopher Lee, and Peter Cushing. Wow. That is a lot of old horror actors there. That's interesting that they're in there. Dark Skies, whatever this is. I don't know what this is. Is it like a... From producer of Paranormal Activity. Yeah, it's PG-13 horror movie. Okay. Interesting. I'm very curious what that movie's about. A Christmas Carol from like 2000. I don't know what year specifically it came out, but it's okay. I think the animation's creepy though. But Jim Carrey does multiple acting in here. He does the voice acting for Ebenezer Scrooge, the Ghost of Christmas Past, Marlin, and Ghost of Christmas Present. So yeah, he does a lot of motion capture for this animated movie, or kind of animated movie. The Dirty Dozen. I haven't seen it, but I know James Gunn was inspired by this for the Suicide Squad movie that came out in 2021. So, yeah, there's that. Minions on Steelbook, which I think it's okay. I don't think it's utterly terrible, but it's so it goes there. Then we got actual movies that I did get this month, or I bought, and well, they're not all just movies, but I got this, and I also have a couple of things on the post on the wall too, which I'll showcase last, but I'll actually move this piece of paper here. We have this Twisters thing, this Twisters magnet to a fridge. I think it's pretty cool. I liked the Twisters movie a little bit earlier this year, so it's cool to have that as a merch in my collection. Then we also got, for some reason, my mom got me a Miles Morales Spider-Man mask, so I guess I can take my hat off and show you guys what it looks like. It barely can even fit my face, and it's really hurting my nose. You know what? I'll keep it on during the whole entire video. Can I even fit my hat on here? I mean, yeah, I can. Okay, then. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Okay. There. Perfect. Now we got the movies and TV series or whatever, the actual physical media that I bought. Alright, so yeah, we're gonna save the most coolest thing for last. So first things first, I got the WrestleMania 24 Blu-ray. I never actually watched any matches on this show. Wait, actually, no, that's a lie. I've seen Ric Flair versus Shawn Michaels, and that match is really good. All the rest of the matches on here I have not seen, but supposedly it's a really solid WrestleMania, and also this is a WrestleMania with a Money in the Bank ladder match, so that could be fun to watch. We got one of my favorite movies of all time on 4K, The Patriot, so I upgraded it on DVD. I think everything in here is phenomenal. I think Mel Gibson gives one of his best performances in here. I think that the actual war sequences are really cool. I think all the characters are quite interesting and you want them to survive. And also, what's that guy's name? Jason Isaacs delivers one of the best and most underrated villain performances in cinematic history. He gave a phenomenal performance as the villain in here. I definitely recommend that one. As I mentioned before, I watched Sinister for the first time, so I got the Sinister Blu-ray Steelbook. It looks pretty cool. I already talked about Sinister earlier. If you want my thoughts again, be sure to rewind the video. I also got The Descent, a great horror movie. This is supposedly the original unrated cut, so this might be the one that has the, terrifying ending at the end. So yeah, that's cool. And I think that overall is the better ending because it's supposed to terrify you, unlike the theatrical ending for Americans. But yeah, so I can't wait to watch the unrated cut of that. I'll probably get some more gore in there too as a horror fan, so that's cool. A 2-film Blu-ray Blu-ray collection of the Gremlins movies. Love the first Gremlins, of course, and then Gremlins 2, the new batch, and not the biggest fan of. It's not utterly trash, but it ain't good either. It's just overall very weird movie what they decided to go with that. Then I also got the Rush Hour trilogy on Blu-ray. I don't know why the cover of the Blu-ray looks like that when I flash it to the camera, but I already talked about these movies too, so if you want my thoughts on them, you can be sure to go back. Then we also got one of my favorite movies of the year. It might end up being my favorite movie of the year. I don't know. It's pretty close with Deadpool and Wolverine. And that is Furiosa, a Mad Max saga on 4K. I loved this movie. This was my first Mad Max movie I watched, and I thought all the performances in here were phenomenal, particularly by Anya Taylor-Joy and Chris Hemsworth. I thought they were both phenomenal in here. I think the action set pieces are really cool. Having watched Fury Road, yes, the action sequences in Fury Road are a lot better, But I still think the action sequences in here are really cool. I think overall this might be I know it's probably going to be a hot take, but I think the story is a lot better than Mad Max Fury Road because it follows a character through her whole entire life and it splits it into chapters, which I do like, unlike some other movies. But yeah, Furiosa, love that. The next up we have probably the best pickup of the month that I saved particularly for last, and that being Stranger Things Season 1 on Blu-ray, but it's in a VHS type style, so it's not actually a VHS, but it is a Blu-ray. You just gotta hold on a second. How's this open? Let me see. Are you supposed to slide it? Oh, I see. And then that's what it looks like. Ooh. And also you get a Stranger Things poster in there. So, yeah, that's cool. Ooh. But with that being said, guys, we just got some posters to show. And then I got one picture to show you on the wall. So, here we go. Also, I forgot to mention, I got this cool Toxic Gamer 331 pillow from my friend Sibylla, so shout out to her. So, yep, some new merch, alrighty. So, first thing I got here, so the Batman returned back into theaters, and I got that cool poster, which supposedly I missed out on, unfortunately. They were supposed to show a sneak peek of the Penguin, but I missed out on that, unfortunately. So, there's that. Their next thing, is a Transformers 1 poster right over there. Got that, of course, seeing the movie, so, and I think that one's really cool. I could have chosen the Bumblebee, Megatron, or Scarlett Johansson one, but I decided to go with that one because I think that looks the coolest. And I also got this Superman poster that looks really cool. So yeah, there's that. And then for drawings on the wall, I only have one this month, so bear with me. Oh, wait, actually, I think it's all the way over here. Don't mind me. And it's gonna be hard to look at, but, oh gosh, I just knocked my hat over. But it's right there. Thing from the Addams Family. Well, with that being said, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this toxic monthly check of all the movies I saw this month and my overhaul and everything. Be sure to let me know your list down below. But with that being said, guys, I'll see y'all next one, everybody. Peace out.